The cloud is moving nearer still. Aurora Borealis comes in view. Aurora comes in view, and I ran so far away. I ran so far away. I just ran. I ran all night and day. I couldn't get away. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground layer, where we have more fun, more joy than the protest songs of a left fascist group of singers.
I ran so far away. I can totally 80s hair band. I can totally see it.
A terrible joke with today's
it is terrible.
subject,
but
yes.
me first off, how you been? How are those hemorrhoids doing? I know they flared up recently.
What?
You all right? Okay.
No. That wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't you? I thought you blew out an O-ring. Okay,
No.
my bad. I could see the singer with the goofy hair.
Right.
Flock of seagulls.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Flock of seagulls.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
I ran.
Wonder what year that was. It had to be mid 80s. Early 80s,
it was
maybe?
1982.
Okay. All right. See, that just means I'm right. I just said 80s, early 80s, close enough. That's,
Way to come back, though.
yeah,
you know,
that's right. It was. You know, I've had over the years, Jay. I've had maybe a dozen or so that I swear I knew. I was singing the song in my head. I was the person or group singing it was. I was like seeing them in my mind. Like I could remember the music. So
Yes. To go back to our opening there, I said we have more joy than the protest songs of a group of woke protesters. Have you ever heard, how many years ago was it now? It was quite a few. It was out in Seattle. There's a group of protesters that took over a city council meeting, and they had wrote this piece of music, and it was all Broadway, you know, but there's a hole in the sky where the tree once stood. Somebody's making money. Oh, if you've never heard that, I got to send that to you. It's so funny.
I have no idea.
It's just the most comical thing. They're all serious, but really, they don't understand the jokes on them. I don't know.
What are they doing? I mean, what out in the Northwest is not left wing enough for somebody?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody out there turns right in their car. What could they possibly protest out there?
I know.
You know what's
Yes.
funny? What's actually sad is that if you go back to like 60s and 70s kind of, I kind of like some of the music.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't really like the message behind it, some of them, but I kind of like, even in the 80s, you hear a song like, 99 Red Balloons.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's a Nuclear Freeze song,
Right.
but good music.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I get angry when I hear it. And sometimes like,
Right.
well, it's kind of like, okay, their message is dumb, but at least they make good music. Okay.
Right.
I mean, I can, they're one for two.
But like Neil Young, I mean, now it's just like, shut up, old man. But, I love Ohio, Rockin' in the Free World.
I loved Crosby, Stills, Nash when they were. I don't know if any of them are still alive, but
I think so. Bruce Springsteen. I have
Love Bruce
Born in the USA on vinyl, but yeah, another one.
he
It's
stopped
like,
making good music 30 years ago
Right.
and decided to become a full-time. He just lost the passion for
they went
it.
from protest music to get off my lawn music, and it's not the same effect.
No, and I really, music is something that I think should bring people together, not tear people apart. And I
Right.
think, unfortunately, while they have good music, the people, and look, that goes for some people on the right too. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as I love Kid Rock and I love Ted Nugent, Ted's getting a little crazy right now, but I mean, I like what he has to say, but it's kind of like, part of me just wishes he'd just go back to being the rock guy. And I got enough people spewing political stuff in my ear.
Yeah.
But
sometimes, I mean, the power that comes in music and standing for an injustice, I understand it. I mean, if it's truly an injustice, not some manufactured thing, and you're hired by some think tank or the Democrat Party or the Republican Party to come up with some sort of manufactured crisis that you're singing about. But,
It's always a crisis.
If you were actually saying, "We are the world," that wasn't a protest song, but it brought people together. It focused on a need that was happening in Africa. If someone were to write a song about the genocide happening, like in Nigeria, of all the Christians that are being murdered by Islamicists.
It's being murdered everywhere.
I think
murdered in Lebanon, too.
I think that would be a worthy song because it's true.
Yeah, and I think you have a media that refuses to focus on it. I mean, they refuse to... it's kind of like what happened with like the Live Aid stuff or the Africa. It always, the Africa stuff always ticked me off because it's like that continent will not change until their governments change and until they get capitalism and a representative republic. We're just turning them into a welfare state. Nobody actually sees what the solutions are. Right. It's kind of like, why don't you, we've been throwing money at Africa since, the French colonized it in the 1800s, and yet nothing's changed over there. We dethroned the government of Libya under President Obama. I would argue that country's worse off.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm a Gaddafi supporter. I'm just saying the country's a bigger toilet than it was. Sorry, but it's true. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that there's this whole idea that, oh, isn't it wonderful? Oh, look at these good intentions. I just hear Great Society, New Deal in my head that, it wasn't about that. It was about creating Democratic voters. Mm-hmm. And so it's just always gets in the back of my head, like, what are they really up to? Right. Who are the corporate sponsors? Who's, what are you getting for free? It's always just, I just immediately, and I don't know if I've just become a negative Nancy on that stuff or what. But speaking of negative Nancy.
Yeah.
I got a plan, Jay. I got a new plan. We're going to dive into this. I'm going to flush this out. This is for a future episode, but I have a proposal to get rid of Congress and get rid of the Supreme Court. I want to get rid of both of them and restart them.
Oh, okay.
We're going to restart them under my new plan.
What do we call this? The Richter plan?
Yeah, well, I got to come up with something better, more catchy than that, with an acronym. But maybe not blow up the Supreme Court. But we need to fix the number. We can't. I believe that we're going to see a court expansion here very, very soon. After President Trump, I think we're going to.
Depends who gets in, but yeah.
I mean, I think that I don't think there's any question there's going to be an attempt to, whether or not that violates the law. No one cares. Whether or not it's an attempt to destroy a co-equal branch of government, but nobody cares. Okay, we just say it, nobody cares.
I don't see J.D. Vance doing that or Marco Rubio doing that. I do see any Democrat
not a Republican
that's elected
doing it. I'm not sure any Democrat, but any Democrat's going to be under pressure to do it. Mm-hmm. They may try and
they've
say
already
no.
been talking about it.
They've been talking about it since the 1930s. I mean, it's nothing new. Right. They've been talking about it for a long time. It's been sort of under the radar. And I think it will become a reality soon. But I'll tell you how we're going to stop it.
Okay.
We're going to stop it by getting rid of Congress. Congress is the most unrepresentative, undemocratic. We saw what happened in Virginia a few days ago.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, and this is going on everywhere.
It is.
How do you redistrict in the middle of a census? First off, I don't understand how that's possible. I know a judge has issued a stay in this. Yeah. I still think Virginia will win this in the end because I think in the end the state will win that case. It may not happen this year, but I think that they'll win in the end. But Congress is a joke. The Senate is a millionaires club. The House is just an entitled mess. There's 435 seats. 30 of them are competitive. That's where all the money's going to be spent because they've gerrymandered all the districts.
Right.
And to say that represents the folks, you have it here in Minnesota too. Same thing. They've drawn districts. This is red. This is blue. We'll focus on 10 of them.
Yep.
And whoever wins by one vote's just going to ramrod whatever they want. Is that a republic?
No.
So here's my plan. I want to get rid of the House of Representatives completely. Gone. I want to replace it by having about 3,000 members of the House of Representatives. Hear me out. We need about 3,000.
Yeah.
Here's why. You have so many that you can't gerrymander the districts. Okay? If Minnesota had 20 of them, there's no way you could draw them all up because the money would be spread out now.
Yeah.
I want to make it harder for people to be bought. That's what I want. I want more competition. I want more. I want more. I want the representation to be smaller. You know, the idea that me and CD3, I am lumped in with everyone from the way the district is drawn. It's drawn so a Democrat wins it, you know, because it's a yuppie district now. It's not the district it was when, you know, Jim Ramstad or somebody was in charge of it. But it looks like an alligator.
Yeah.
It like goes down the. I mean, the idea that the suburbs of St. Paul and Minneapolis, they have no say in who their congressperson is.
Yeah.
Zero. None. It's insane. Let them have their own, and let the suburbs have their own. Let the, you know, if we had more representatives and they were closer to us. I mean, you have Ilhan Omar, who doesn't know if she's worth $50,000 or $30 million.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. No one cares. She'll get reelected.
Of course you will.
There's no real competition. The only competition would be from another Democrat.
And we've seen how that works
Right.
out because that's not fair either.
Right. And that's not where the money goes. We all know the Democrats quash anybody who tries to raise the status quo. If Donald Trump ran as a Democrat, they'd have squashed him like they squashed Bernie.
Yeah.
It would have happened that way. So I think we need to have about 3,000 reps. And that would make it harder to be bought. It would make it, I think, your representative closer to you. And then I think the thing we have to do, go back in the Senate and do, is have them be elected by the states. And get rid of that amendment, whatever it was, the 16th or the 17th. I get them mixed up. And go back to those two. But we have to blow them up. There is nothing redeeming about the House or the Senate. I have not one good thing to say about any of them. Now, are there good individual members? Sure. I can count them on one hand and one foot, and that's about it. Okay? And you look at, like, Senate races. We're all focusing on 4 Senate races. Well, why? Why shouldn't we be focusing on all of them?
Yeah.
But I think it would get rid of this red district, blue district, red state, blue state. One party rule is bad for anybody.
Right.
I think.
I agree.
Even if it's people I like, they still need to be held accountable.
Yes.
Agreed.
So now, and if we could count on, this is where the party system really screws things up, because we could have all good people and they would hold each other accountable if there weren't parties. And maybe that's the answer, is get rid of parties. Everybody is independent. The problem is this. Well, there's a lot of problems. House of Representatives has not codified one thing that President Trump has passed. And here we are.
Yeah, that's one
a year
problem.
and a half
I
into
could name
his
15
term,
more. But
right?
Yeah.
House of Representatives finally passes the Save America Act, and the Senate won't even pick it up.
Right.
80% of the people in this country want that law passed, and the John Thune will not pick it up.
Right, but it's more than that, though. There's problems with the SAVE Act, as some have people have put out there.
Yeah.
It's not just voter ID. There's a bunch of other things in there, too, and I think that's where they've lost a little support. I saw an interview with Senator Fetterman a few weeks ago where he said, okay, look, you have voter ID.
Yeah.
I'm voting for it. You put voter ID with 19 other things.
Yeah.
Don't I have to consider the 19 other things?
Exactly.
They're like, okay, I get it. So that's a problem, is that it's when they have something that they think will pass, then they load it up with 50 other things.
Right.
Then all of a sudden it stalls. Because now, okay, this guy got that thing. I want this thing.
Right.
And then we Lyndon Johnson here. We horse trade everything.
Yeah. I mean, we can't
But
even
it's
pass
not in
a budget.
good faith. It's not in good faith.
Yeah, we can't even pass a budget. Everything is a continuing resolution. And that's all they're doing is talking about the next continuing resolution, which comes up in another 3 months or whatever.
It goes
So
till
it's
October
ridiculous.
1st, which is the fiscal year.
Yeah.
I know. And they're going to be arguing about it in the summer when what we should be doing on the Republican side is crafting our midterm strategy. That, of course, should be going on now.
Right.
Outside of the White House, I'm not sure it's going on. I think in the White House it is, but I don't think it is anywhere else. There's no cord. And this is the problem when you don't pass stuff. If you don't pass things, you have no reason to be reelected.
Right.
It's like, okay, if you can pass things and this person may not, but at least you have something to run on. You've got something. It reminds me of Trump's first term, repeal and replace.
Yeah.
Okay. And we don't do it.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, well, we gave you the majority. We gave you the presidency, and you didn't pass what you said you would pass.
Yep.
And I think, again, we're kind of falling into that again.
Yeah.
Where, okay, you may not have a Republican president, House and Senate for 10 more years. You may not. We don't know.
Right.
And what's going to happen then? But I'm telling you, Jay, and this goes for every state, too. We got to blow up every state, too. Because I don't see how we can go on the way we're going on. Look here in Minnesota, and I know Minnesota's a dumpster fire.
Yes.
But how many more taxes can we jack up? How many more times can property taxes go up 10%? How many more times? They're talking about raising another sales tax or something like that. I mean, how many times?
Yeah.
HCMC, we're going to bail them out. What? All you have to do is stop doing what you're doing. This is a direct result of the legislature and Governor Walz letting everybody into this country, letting them abuse the ER. We all know what it is. It's the people who play by the rules are paying for the people who don't.
Yeah.
And instead of fixing that, they're going to bail. And I'm going to tell you, Republicans are going to go along with it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they will. It'll be part of some hodgepodge. Somehow a county, they're $77 million in the hole.
And what's going to get done about feeding our future? Nothing.
Nothing. The same people will get reelected every single. The Democrats don't care. They don't care.
No. What's going to get done about the
mad at
fraud with the child care? Nothing.
Nothing. They're just mad at the people who exposed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's horrid. I don't know what to do with it. I really don't. I can't even. All I can think of is you've got to just start from scratch. It's kind of like you got a football team or a baseball team. They just imploded. Everybody's a free agent. Just get rid of everyone and just you have an expansion team for 2 years. That's what has to be done. Just no doubt about it.
Here's what we should do. We should allow them to unionize. And then when they go on strike, because they will, we bring in scabs and we fire everybody.
Yeah, no kidding.
How about that?
Yeah, it was that Reagan with the air traffic controllers threatened to do that.
Yeah.
It was applauded. And back then it was applauded. Oh,
I would applaud it now with this with Congress.
Want to go on strike? Go on strike. Stay there. Yeah, I know they can't pass anything, but there's no incentive for anybody to. Here's the thing, though. I've said this before. People say, "Well, why can't you just get along? Why can't we just get?" Well, we can't even agree on what a man and a woman are. How in the world are you supposed to agree on anything?
Right.
How?
You can't. If you can't agree on that which is as simple as night and day.
I wonder if Congress could pass a resolution that the sky is blue. I wonder how many votes that would get.
Well,
AOC, what's her vote?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a bit gray today, you know.
Why did AOC stare at the box of orange juice? Because it said concentrate. What are you going to do? I mean, seriously. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of it's such a mess. I think it's unfixable. Yeah. It's like the public schools. They're not fixable.
No, they're not.
It's just, I mean, why wait for it to collapse under its own weight?
Well, because the people who have control aren't going to give up control until it does collapse.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When then is it okay to take up arms and say we don't have a government anymore?
Well, we're not there yet. Obviously.
We may not be there yet, but I sit here and I wonder at what point is this either A, an open war, B, at what point do states leave?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they talk about it, but it's kind of like,
yeah.
When is that going to get serious?
I don't know. I guess we're going to have to watch because this year, Alberta could vote to leave Canada and become its own nation. And they're pretty conservative while the rest of Canada is nuts. So we have to kind of keep an eye on that because that could fuel some of those sentiments with like Texas, who has a provision to be able to leave the union. I hope they don't, because then the rest of the nation is going to be plunged in darkness forever.
Texas would be a tough one to lose.
Yeah.
Well, how about the movement that's gone on in Oregon the last 10 years to separate from the
Western
rest of
Oregon joining Idaho?
Yeah, they're following their theories. They're following West Virginia's model. Mm-hmm. When Virginia seceded from the Union, and West Virginia, that's how West Virginia became a state in 1863. They said,
Right.
no, we're not part of them anymore. I mean, I don't know that quite applies here, but you have to feel represented. And if, I have to say, I've never thought of leaving Minnesota in my life. I'm honestly thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. I think you have to at least think about it. Like, things are bad here. There are good things happening. There are. But they're overshadowed by all of the crime and corruption and fraud, and that our people that we've elected to represent us don't represent us, and they not only allow these things to happen and allow them to continue, they facilitate it,
and it's in your face.
Yes.
I mean, it's just in your face. They're just daring you to get reelected.
It is in your face contempt, and that's what makes me sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tim Walz. His answer is basically screw you.
Yeah,
it's Ron. Yeah.
He wants to resurrect the whole feeding our future thing. You didn't learn your lesson the first time? Of course you haven't.
Government's been
because
feeding
so far he's got away with it.
Government's been feeding our future forever, and everyone's still starving.
Yeah.
How come nobody recognizes that?
Right.
If all the money's spent on poor people, why are they still poor?
Well, just wait till we have free grocery stores like New York City.
Yeah, in 3 years. That's the latest thing from, what's his name? Mondavi?
Yeah.
Or that's a kind of wine. That's a brand of wine, I think. Mondavi.
Mom Donnie.
Mom Dovi?
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. Well, we'll flush that out in a later episode. We got to get to what's going on here.
Yeah.
What's your take, Jay, on this Iran business?
Yeah.
How do you see it? I mean, do you see it as something kind of? I know there's been some dissension in the ranks among the quote unquote right or MAGA, or I don't know if it's dissension or just a few people with microphones who are upset. I don't know what to make of that. Quite frankly, I don't think anybody's handling it very maturely.
Yeah.
But what do you think about what's going on with basically regime change, if you want to call it that?
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, I don't really know who's in charge in Iran. I never really have, to be honest. But what's your take? What's your fear? What do you think's going on?
I am super conflicted about it.
I am too.
I'm generally not pro-war, right? Generally, I am for peace, not at any cost, but
sure.
Generally speaking. But I also see that Iran is a country that lies. They are a country that has been killing Americans for 47 years. They are a country that throws people that disagree with their brand of Islam off of rooftops or disagrees with their form of government. They execute them by hanging or whatever. We've seen how when the people rose up, all of a sudden they shut down the internet and they killed tens of thousands of people. We have seen them kill Christians. How Iran runs, you have a supreme leader, the Ayatollah, who really dictates everything, who says to the IRGC, here's what I want you to do, says to the president, here's what I want you to do. But the problem is now we're down to like the C team, right? The C team is kind of floundering their way through this, and some of them are more radical. If I can maybe explain a little bit, because there is something with Iran that okay. So I'm not saying that all Muslims are bad. That I want to be clear on that. But the vast majority, I believe, would consider themselves Islamists, which their belief is that Islam is not just a religion, but it's also tied into culture, it's tied into politics. And so you can't, as a Muslim, live under a constitutional republic. You can't live under a democracy. You can't live under communism or whatever it is.
It's a tribal...
Because it has to be an Islamic government. If you think that everything should be Sharia law, you're an Islamist. That's the way it works. So you
sounds like the City Council of Detroit.
Yeah. Well, Dearborn. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so you have an Islamist government in Iran that maintains strict Sharia law in that country. And any other Muslim country that kind of ascribes to that same thought pattern, Yemen and Syria and all of these, a bunch of them in North Africa, it's the same way. So, in Iran, you have about 45% of the population, which are Persians, and they don't ascribe to this Islamist view. And you have some others that are non-religious as well, or you have some Christians, and these people don't ascribe to the Islamist view. But because they're not able to take the country over right now by themselves, you have these weak leaders that are hanging on. And the further down the chain you go, unfortunately, the more we're finding it's filled with these 12ers. So in this particular branch of Islam, they have a group called the 12ers, and in Iran, they're all over in the government. And what they believe is that many, many centuries ago, this is after Muhammad, Muhammad being the first Mahdi. Mm-hmm. When they got to the 12th Mahdi, he disappeared as a kid down a well. And that someday he's coming back up out of that well to wash the world in blood, and then through chaos will be able to establish the Islamic order all over the world. And that is their paradise that they're going to be able to live in. So
Yikes.
They're pushing for that because they believe that the only way to wash the world in blood is by creating enough chaos that it brings that 12th Imam, the 12th Mahdi, out of the well. Yes. And really, when you compare it with the book of Revelation in Christian in Christian theology, the 12th Mahdi really fulfills the role, pretty much to a T, of the Antichrist in our Bible. So it's kind of interesting.
Yikes.
I'm not saying that's who the Antichrist will be, but I am saying that there is this between the two. I mean, that's why we're the great Satan, right? And Israel's the little Satan, is because there is this contention between the two. Why Iran will never, I believe, never surrender to us. Why they will lie, they will buy time, they will stall, because they need to figure out how to create enough chaos to bring about the end of the world.
Okay. Now, not that I don't disagree with that, but do you think that represents the Iranian government, the ruling class,
Yes.
the
Yes,
population in general?
No, not the population in general, but the ruling class right now is full of it. Right?
Okay.
In more of the way than one.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
here's my well, I understand that, and I do fear that. Iran is a country that, you talk about war or a nuclear weapon. I've been hearing for my entire life that Iran's going to nuke us. They're going to blah, 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 blah. And I've believed it and I haven't believed it.
Yeah.
My question becomes this. For whatever they want, our policy here from the United States can't be to dethrone everybody government we don't like.
No.
It can't be to, because here's my thinking. You and I grew up in an era where there were two superpowers.
Yes.
And they played chess against each other. Neither one of them really wanted to destroy the other. They boasted about it. But the Soviet Union backed down every time they were challenged. They backed down. They were, I don't want to call them a paper tiger because they weren't, especially economically.
And they had the tools that if they wanted to nuke us, they could have.
True. And they had the satellite countries to set up bases and things like that.
Yeah.
And being in Cuba, very, very close. But Iran is one of those countries where I wonder how much of it is bluster and how much of it is reality. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I know when it comes to religious zealotness, maybe that kind of clear-headed thinking can go out the window.
Yes.
But I feel like this. I feel like if they get into survival mode, that's where it's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you've knocked off one row of leadership. You've knocked off another. There's no incentive now for them. Maybe there is to buy time or to sit down. But it's like if they think they're about to teeter,
Yeah.
they have nothing to lose.
Right.
By just unleashing anything. It's kind of like when Iraq invaded Kuwait and they lit the oil fields on fire and they dumped oil in the Persian Gulf and all that.
Yeah.
Why did they do it? Well, because they could. They were losing.
Right.
They had to be asses on the way back. And I feel like I trust President Trump with a game of chess more than I trust anybody.
Yes.
I don't care what he says. I don't care what he says changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we all know why. This is how he negotiates. He does some of it in public. He does some of it in private. He can be funny when he does it. And he can be sarcastic. And he can go over the top. Mm-hmm. But we all know at the end of the day, he doesn't want this. Right. He doesn't want a war. We couldn't conquer Iraq with 150,000 ground troops, and Iraq is a third the size.
Yeah.
We can't win that kind of war, in my opinion, unless we make it a total war.
Well, warfare is different, though, than in that day, too, because you had presidents that weren't playing to win. They were playing to...
One arm tied behind their back, I agree. they were trying to win a PR war and win a war, and you can't do that.
Right.
But I just am uncomfortable with, okay, how many countries today have a nuclear weapon? You know what worries me more about Iran are like the sleeper cells, people we've let in this country and we've not vetted, which happened for 4 years under the previous president. I mean, I'm more concerned about that than I am their government. I don't know why. I just feel like it's kind of like we've lived with their government since 1979, and we've held them in check when we've had to. We've given them a jab when we've had to. Yeah. But they're like the Soviet Union. They back down. They get in survival mode.
They do, but they don't. It's like they lie and they stall. Oh, yes, we'll consider that. We'll consider that. And I think they're trying to wait President Trump out. And he's not going to put up with that.
No, but let me tell you, Iran can win this in the short run. In the short run, they can win this. They know they can because they can screw up with the world's energy supply. They know. Now, they need oil to be bought from them more than we do.
I mean, they're on the brink of economic collapse
Maybe.
with us blocking that. Blocking them.
Yeah, the Straits of Vermouth.
Yes.
But quite frankly, they can win a short conflict like that.
Yeah.
They can't win it in the long run. They can't win it economically.
No.
Because oil sales is the only thing that country has.
Yeah.
At the same time, short term though, they know they can screw with us. I'll tell you what, the key country might be China. They might be the key country.
They want that strait to remain open because that's where they get all their oil.
I mean, they don't. Russia too. I mean, Russia's been sanctioned by so many countries that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both of them, and quite frankly, a few phone calls from them might tip it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is Iran going to play games? Are they going to? My answer to that is let them play games. If that avoids a war, let them play games.
Yeah.
They want to play games with this or that? All right, fine. You go play your game. And I also wonder, are we doing enough to galvanize the population there? You've got a huge population in that country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 70, 80 million people. And I don't think that government can control them if there's an organized... Now, you don't know what'll happen or who will take over. We found that out the hard way. And we've seen it. We've seen this in Libya. We saw it in Syria. Something worse might take over. It can happen.
Right.
So, but to me, if Iran has its own chaos, they're not paying attention to us then.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, what do you make of the decision to kind of go at them? And I do think President Trump tried hard not to. I disagree that Netanyahu's got him.
Oh, nobody.
I think that's
Trump
laughable with all due respect.
Yeah,
and there's MAGA people saying that, and I'm just like, come on, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, nobody tells him what to do.
I mean, I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean, he tells everybody, he goes to the Oval Office. He'll sit right next to them and tell them to go fly a kite.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
Boy, the guy from England, I'll be surprised if he ever comes back.
I know.
Yeah. Well, King Charles is coming, so I guess. Yeah.
Well.
So there's somebody who wants to talk, but I think it's kind of. I just think it's kind of head scratching that the idea is that Israel's dragging us around. I just don't see that.
Yeah.
But what do you make of the decision though to do this, to go for a knockout or to and how do you see it ending? I mean, do you see it ending quick, or are we going to be, everybody promises a short ending to something, and rarely does it happen. It's one of the consequences of war. It just doesn't go how it goes in a West Point textbook.
We have done enough damage to that country and continue to do enough damage to that country that under normal circumstances, it should be short because they don't have much left to work with. There's no Navy, no Air Force. We've decimated their missiles, their drones. What all they have left is to hide and survive. And they are just kind of leading us along. And then they talk smack and act big, and then oh, we're sorry. Well, they don't say they're sorry, but then they act like they're negotiating with us. But it is because of that, I think, willingness to go to the end to try and create that chaos, that it worries me that it will go on. Like, they'll act like they're negotiating, because they've been doing this for decades, where they act like they're negotiating and then they stall and then they don't, oh yes, we'll allow people in to check our uranium enrichment process, and then they don't,
So this is another North Korea. This is another bait and switch. Yeah, we will. No, we won't.
Yeah.
But again, North Korea, another country that just backs down every time.
Yeah, North Korea is different. He wants to survive. He has no religious fervor to speak of, that will make him, he wants to survive. He's not going to nuke other countries. Iran, supposedly they have enough for 11 bombs, enough material. But
do you believe that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, who knows? And how do we know? That's what they said they had in negotiations. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Why would they say it? I guess puff out their chest and look big. I guess I don't know, but it's just causing us to continue to press them more. I think it is stupid to claim that if you don't have it, because it's just going to cause the U.S. to pursue them until that's recovered. So, but Iran has no problem with using that. That's the problem. Whether that's in a nuclear bomb or whether you make a dirty bomb in suitcases and you ship them overseas and get them to your sleeper cells,
Well, that's one thing that they've never had is the delivery system.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole different... You can enrich uranium all you want, but the delivery system is, if you don't have that, then you're not capable of hitting... I mean, they could hit Israel, I suppose, possibly.
Well,
but the IDF has got... Their air defenses are... They've got like a missile defense around the... I mean, I think that'd be very hard.
But we found out that they've got the capability to hit Europe.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to say I don't buy everything I'm hearing.
Well, there's a lot of garbage going around.
Yeah, there's just a lot of Let me ask you this question. How do you define victory here?
I think victory is that they surrender unconditionally, that they are willing to...
Who takes over?
Well, that's up to them. I don't think we should do that.
Right, because we install a puppet there, and that's...
Yeah.
That may turn out to be the most...
mixture of IRGC and other people. Who knows how it will end up. But, the mullahs have to release control of the country, I think. And they have to agree to no more nuclear activity, no more pursuing a nuclear weapon, allowing people to come in and check. I mean, that is really what President Trump is worried about. That is the only thing he's worried about is nuclear war. That's the reason we're in there.
He's made it clear it's not going to happen under his watch. He said that in his first term.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about this country's appetite to support this? Because one of the things that worries me is, and I think this is where President Trump has been very smart, that no, we're not putting boots on the ground. We are not.
Yeah.
We're not doing an occupation. I don't like calling it that, but we're not. However, like I've said before, how do you define victory if, like we're negotiating right now, or we're starting to Vance and a few other people who've already sat down, well, whoever they're sitting down with, I mean, whoever's really in charge, short of all that, like, okay, we're gonna have peace, but it's kind of a real tenuous peace. Is that a win?
I guess so.
It's a win for humanity, but is it a win that we can? I guess what I'm asking is, what? Last summer we went through this where we hit them with hitting their underground nuclear whatever. And we have done this several times with Iran, and yet they're always back at the table. Oh, we knocked them out. We destroyed their capacity for years. Well, a year later, all of a sudden, we find out that's not true, or we say it's not true. Where do we go? Because here's what I think might end up happening in the short run.
Mm-hmm.
The Strait of Hormuz is going to open again. It has to. They're just playing chicken with, daring each other to make a move right now. That's what's going on.
Right.
Iran isn't stupid enough to go all out at the United States, and the United States doesn't want to fire the first shot either. It's like Fort Sumter. We're standing there staring at each other.
I don't know if Iran wouldn't fire the first shot.
I think they have feigned attacks, but I think, again, they're in survival mode. That's what I still think they're in. Like, they're going to back down. They know Trump's not full of crap, okay?
Right.
They know Netanyahu's not full of crap. They know that they can either buy time or delay. They know the U.S. has no appetite for a real war.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're going to come up to a line, kind of like the old Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. They're going to come up to a line, they're not going to cross it, and they may cross it a little. But not to the point where, look, we've had battleships there for weeks. They haven't been touched. The Iranian ships turned around. Okay, if they were going to be confrontational, something would have happened by now. It was very tenuous. So now, if a peace deal, quote unquote, comes through, how does that work now?
Yeah,
because if you keep them in power, whoever it is, okay, and then we're back to the free trade being open.
Yeah.
And you've knocked back the nuclear for a while, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But then aren't we in a year, 2 years, 4 years? Aren't we right back to right now?
Well, maybe in some ways. In other ways, and this is interesting when you look at how Iran has attacked its neighbors, really pushing them closer to Israel. In fact, where you have Lebanon at a place where they realize they can't take care of Hezbollah by themselves, and they're starting to partner with Israel a little bit to the point where they might even join the Abraham Accords, which would be
another
would be
thing
mind-blowing.
From President Trump's first term, which he doesn't get much credit for, in my opinion. What do you think about... I want to make it political for a minute. What do you think about kind of I don't know if there's a split in MAGA. I think that's taking it too far. There's some criticism of sniping back and forth between some on the quote unquote right.
Well, definitely there is some of that.
Now, I don't think it is. Generally speaking, like I don't think the Trump's base of voters feels that way, but some loud voices do.
Yeah.
And what do you make of that?
Well, I'm having some trouble with it. I've always liked Tucker Carlson.
I've always liked him too. I still do.
Yeah, he's wrong on this. And Candace Owens is wrong on this.
Candace
Alex
Owens
Jones is wrong on this.
Candace Owens, I can't help.
But
I will say they have a few legit points, but they lose me very fast. They lose me really quickly. I think where I see some of their points is in the, but I don't equate it to Trump. That's where I disagree with them. I do think there is a appetite in Washington for war.
Yeah.
I think there is a constant drumbeat for it.
I agree.
Among people at the Pentagon. I'm not talking about the Trump administration. I'm talking about the lobbyists and the contractors, and there are certain members of the Senate who just love war, can't wait for another war, want to start a war, look for a war.
Yeah.
And I think that that's true. I think that that's correct. I go back to George W. Bush's administration, where they would have invaded Iraq at any time during his presidency. I mean, it was, read the Project for an American Century. It's eerie how all those people ended up in the Bush administration. It's just, I mean, it's it's almost mind blowing. It's I can understand why people sort of believe that stuff. But I think there's some truth to it. I do think Israel's a powerful lobby. I do think they're good at it. I think that they are actively doing that all the time. Do I think Trump has sold out to them, or is their ragdoll? No, I don't whatsoever. And that's the part that I can't figure out.
Yeah.
He has tried to end, he has done more to end wars, attempt peace,
yes,
try to stop things, than any president I can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, who'd be number two? I mean, I don't even know who would be modern wise.
Yeah.
President Taft, maybe? How far back do you have to go? President Coolidge? Kellogg Bryant pact? Do you have to go back that far?
Well, maybe.
I mean, and I understand, too, when you're president, some events are out of your control. Another country invades another. I mean, you can want peace, but you can't always orchestrate it. You can't always stop it. You can't. There's 200-something countries in the world, and you can't micromanage them all. It's not the job of the United States, but I can't understand. Trump has betrayed his base. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know what the hell she's saying.
I don't know.
But Greene really bothers me because she goes on these left-wing shows,
right,
and she's doing it for one reason. They want her on to rip Trump. And she ought to be smart. If she disagrees with Trump on something, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're being used by the very people you claim to be opposed to.
Right.
To try to divide. I mean, she can believe in what she believes in, and that's fine with me, but I don't understand. It's like she's just basking in going on The View and going, like, what are you doing? You know what you're doing. You're being used to slam the president.
Yeah.
And I don't get that. I just don't understand that. So, what, do you see that as a permanent split? Is that, does that bleed into how much influence do they really have? I don't know.
Yeah, I think some of them have a lot of influence. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene has a lot of influence. She, I think right now, probably has about as much as Adam Kinzinger has. Right?
Probably.
Right?
Probably, but it's disappointing to see. I'm disappointed.
But where I do worry, people like Tucker and Candace and Alex Jones that have millions of people. Megyn Kelly is in that group as well. They do. But what bothers me so much is that
if you want to disagree with him on this, why can't you support him on 50 other things?
Yeah.
That's where the part that I don't get is why do you, I get it. I mean, I get not wanting to go to war. I get not wanting to gas prices to shoot up. I get worrying about the Republicans losing in November, especially with President Trump not on the ballot, which we just can't seem to do anything when he's not. Say what you want about him. When he's there, it's the people come out, however you want to put it. But going out there and trying to tear him down, I'm flabbergasted at it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's worrisome. I'm worried though that I worry that this hasn't been articulated well enough. I worry that we had dropped gas prices down to like $2.30 a gallon, and are they going to come back down?
I think they will.
I think they will.
There has to be, and we've seen a little fluctuation already with them coming down, but I think overall there has to be stability in the Strait of Hormuz because
Strait of Hormuz?
Yes. Because if people know that's going to remain open, there will be confidence that people will get their oil, and that will bring down the price of oil.
Here's what I don't understand, and this is where, don't call me Bernie Sanders here, but why is it if the price of oil goes up, gas prices go up immediately? If the price of oil goes down, it takes months for the price of gas to go down.
Yeah, it comes down slower than it should, that's for sure.
Yeah, but see, that's where it's like we're being manipulated.
Yeah.
The future's we're being lied to. I mean, we're just being lied to. Why can't we just say? I think there's Republicans who think that that's some sort of attack on capitalism or something. I'm like, well, it's not capitalism to have a couple of companies manipulate a market. That's not capitalism.
Right. Okay,
that's not free competition. So I don't know. I think that you can. I do worry that the focus is just not enough here in this country. I think it's there, but it's the perception that it's not there.
Right.
What happens then? I mean, what happens? The Democrats could take over the Senate, which I think is unlikely, but the War Powers Act can be used to end this. They beat it back by 2 votes a couple days ago.
Right.
We lost Murkowski, we lost Rand Paul, not a surprise.
Yeah.
But, and I think Fetterman and one other Democrat voted for it, but it was a very down the party vote, which I was disappointed in.
Right.
But I mean, it's, I don't know. This is, I just, I don't know. I wonder if it's going to be worth it in the end. What we're, and then, where do you go from here? I mean, what's the next crisis?
Well, I mean, Cuba, obviously, right? He's kind of simultaneously handling that, though, as he's handling Iran.
It is under the radar, and I'm a little surprised there's not more focus on that, considering how close that country is.
Oh, that's not true. Greta Thunberg took a flotilla down there, and they went and stayed at a resort and had sandwiches or something like that.
Yeah, it was on state TV, wasn't it?
Something like that.
I don't know, boy. Cuba would be one hell of an accomplishment to me, I think, anyway. Who's running Cuba nowadays?
Isn't it still a Castro?
It ain't Raul anymore, is it?
Isn't Raul's son, though?
It might be. Raul's still around, or did he pass away?
I don't know.
Those leaders usually don't retire gracefully.
Oh, no, they usually die with, they go out with their boots on.
Yeah. What is Nikita Khrushchev, maybe the one exception?
Cuba is currently led by Miguel Diaz-Canel, who serves as both president of Cuba, who's the head of state and government, and the first secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba, the most powerful political position in the country. So, The Communist Party is the only legal political party, and real political authority flows through the party leadership, not competitive elections. So while Diaz-Canel is the formal president, his role as party leader is what gives him the most influence. That's interesting. Imagine if that was the case here. Oh, goodness. Mm-hmm. You'd have Ken Martin with a whole lot more power than he should have, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know. I think it's... I just hope this ends well, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, Jay. I'm a little... Let me ask a few political questions here.
Yeah.
Things are heating up in Texas.
Yeah.
The primary is pretty soon. I think it's in about a month.
Okay.
Or it's first week of June, or is it last week of May? I'm going to throw it out there. You going to make a prediction on who wins that?
Oh, boy. I don't know.
I'm going to look up a date for it.
Who are all the players?
Well, you got Cornyn and Paxton, obviously. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I think they're the only two now. I think it's...
Or is it down to just those?
I think it is down to just...
Because when you have just the two and you don't have other spoilers in there.
Didn't they get down to two during that?
Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting because Paxton said, if Cornyn is willing to come out in support of the Save America Act, I'll drop out.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, this was... Never mind.
Okay. But to my knowledge, Cornyn hasn't done it yet because Paxton's still in the race. Why won't you do it?
I don't know. Maybe because Paxton won't drop out. That's
I don't know.
Think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see Paxton win. John Cornyn's getting a ton of money, though, from Thune, I'm sure.
May 26th. Well,
yeah.
Here's the problem with Cornyn, and I hate to say, if this were in a different state, I think Paxton would win by a wide margin. But the truth about Texas, much as I love that state, as great a state as I think it is still run by sort of the good old boys.
Oh, yeah.
It still has the sort of old Bush, Karl Rove.
Mm-hmm. They'll work with Democrats before they work with Republicans they feel threaten their power.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're worried about primaries there, not so much general elections.
Yeah.
And so, now look, there's some great people from Texas. Chip Roy is outstanding.
Oh, he's outstanding.
This is another thing about the House races that really stinks. I mean, you got Byron Daniels. He's leaving to run for governor. Nancy Mace is leaving to run for governor.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand.
Marsha Blackburn's leaving to run for governor.
You could get any Republican to run for governor of South Carolina. Can we keep Nancy Mace in Congress?
Well,
you've got Chip Roy running for attorney general in Texas. They're going to lose him too.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they're rising stars and I respect what they're doing. It's like they keep talking about Republican retire. They're not retirements. They're people. They've got 20 people running for higher office.
Right.
So it's kind of like, and that's where I get a little worried about how we're. Now there was a third guy in that primary, this Hunt guy, who got eliminated from the runoff. But he got more of a vote than I thought he would get. He got like 17%.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at that. And I wonder where his votes go. My guess is they would go to Paxton. I mean, that's my guess. But if you didn't vote for Cornyn the first time, why would you vote for him the second time?
Exactly.
Or do they show up? Do they show up in...
Another great question, yeah.
May 26th? I mean, I don't have any...
You and I both know that primaries are... basically for activists.
Yeah.
The general population does not show up.
Especially Republicans.
Yeah.
Republicans are just at this.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the people who've endorsed Cornyn. I mean, can I just read a list?
Yes, I'd love to hear this list.
Don Evans, former Secretary of Commerce under George W. Bush. Rick Perry, former Texas governor, Secretary of Energy. Mike Pompeo. A whole list of senators that you probably would guess.
Yeah.
Just the Kay Bailey Hutchison, the former senator, Lindsey Graham. It's the kind of the usual list of people. Some of those senators might be doing it, as Senate. What do you call it? Courtesy.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that Governor Abbott hasn't endorsed anybody. Ted Cruz hasn't endorsed anybody.
Yeah.
I think Keith Self, another one who's or kind of another kind of right. He's an older guy, but he's a really new congressperson. He's not endorsing anybody, so maybe there's kind of a nod, wink, wink there. Got me. I don't have any idea.
Huh.
But yeah, the money advantage. Oh boy, money advantage is very high.
Yeah, I bet it is.
And that's not including the PAC money or the Senate money. He can raise whatever he wants, but it's the PAC money and the. Do you think it's wise though for the Republicans to spend a lot in a primary? I just
no.
Because I look at Texas and I go, the Republicans going to win there in November.
Right.
I know they want their guy, but don't we have more important things to spend on? Like, I don't know, North Carolina or Georgia or
not
Michigan.
Really a national race.
Yeah.
You look at Minnesota, who you have Michelle Tafoya, who attracts national attention. You have
and what is with Minnesota Republicans dumping on her?
I don't.
We
know.
finally have a candidate who has name ID and can raise. She's raised 3 times as much money as Peggy Flanagan.
Yeah,
and the Republicans are just trying to tear her down.
Well, she's not pro-life enough for them.
Who cares? It's a state issue.
It is a state issue, and this is a federal race. She will never have to deal with that issue being in a federal office.
Should we run? Let's run Royce White again. I have more money in my checking account than he has in his campaign account. No offense, but it's true. Okay, why don't we just give it to Mrs. Potato Head?
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't understand it. So, I am concerned that she won't get supported either. Yeah. She's not one of the boys. She's not. I don't know how seriously that they're got Minnesota on the radar.
Yeah, it should be a national race.
But the RNC has way more money than the DNC.
Yeah.
I mean, they could tip this.
They could if they wanted to. But when you can pour all that money into a Texas race, why not?
Well, I mean, I know a bunch of money is going to go into North Carolina, and that's understandable. But I actually think the Republicans are in better shape there than most people think.
Yes.
Michael Whatley, the former chair of the Republican National Committee, has every Republican donor in his Rolodex.
Yes.
I think he'll
do fine.
I think he will do very well. Now, look, Roy Cooper is probably the best person that the Democrats could run.
Right.
In that seat.
I agree.
And so, I mean, it will be a competitive, close race, but I think Whatley will pull it out at the end. That's what I think. And I don't think they're going hard enough after Georgia either. I don't understand why we're not dumping money into Georgia already.
Yeah.
We should be, because
that Senate race should be a slam dunk.
We should win that by 10. Easily should win it. I mean, I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't either.
Susan Collins, she can lose all day. Okay, that's fine. I really don't want a communist there.
A communist Nazi.
Yeah, I really don't want that.
Right.
But Susan Collins gives nobody any reason to vote for her, so it's hard. It's just hard to. I know Thune will send her money, though. No question about it. But
yeah, he will. It just doesn't. Why Republicans, and it doesn't matter whether it's state level or federal level, pour money into races that are inconsequential. There's sure wins, or they're pouring money into primaries rather than the tough races that could possibly give them a better advantage in the House and in the Senate.
Here's the other thing, too. If they would pour money into races, not pour it, but if they would spend money in races, like, for example, they're all nervous. I know national Republicans are getting nervous about Ohio. I'm not. But that's the special election for J.D. Vance's last 2 years.
Yeah.
And Sherrod Brown is running again, who's the last person in Ohio to win a statewide election, which was quite a while ago, actually. But again, are you scared of him? No. So what is the panic button? I mean, if the Republicans had spent a little money there already and started that narrative and put him in a box already, the Republican would be up by 10, and we take the rest of that money and spend it somewhere else.
Yep.
Where's the strategy to shorten the amount of races that you have to fund? Then all the money can go in Georgia, North Carolina, and possibly Michigan. I think that's a sleeper because I think that's a state that's been in recession since the 70s. I'm not a huge believer that state's going to. That's an open seat.
Yeah.
So now's the time to go in there and take it. So I don't know, or bring money to Minnesota or something like that. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. But as far it does relate to Iran though, because like I said, I mean, funding this, and let me play out a scenario.
Okay.
They lose the House. Trump's last 2 years are just.
Yeah.
We may as well just have the 28 election in January of 27.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing but impeachment all the time.
Well, I mean, they're not going to impeach him because
they might impeach him, but they'll never remove him.
They're just going to harass him the whole time. Yeah. And his legislative stuff will be stopped. He'll still do things by executive order, but as we've talked about, that only goes so far.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the bill to remove the Department of Education.
Yeah, me too.
Where's that in the House?
Yeah, I
mean, they fired all the employees. The buildings are empty, and yet the department still exists.
Right.
Do you think? Let me ask this question. Do you think that? What do you make of the Democrats with Iran? I mean, with the split in their party with Israel and the which is very prominent in that party.
Yeah.
What do you make of them? Really going out on a limb and not backing the president in Iran. Most of them aren't.
Yeah.
A handful of them are, but not many.
Right.
And the ones who are kind of not talking about it. They're kind of hiding. They're kind of lukewarmly doing it. What do you make of where do they stand on the Israeli-Palestinian stuff right now?
It's strange because the Democrats used to be for Israel as well as the Republicans. I mean, that was something they were kind of aligned on. Do I necessarily agree with everything Israel's doing as a government? No, but I believe in their right to exist. I believe in their right to have their traditional homeland that they've had for thousands of years. That is something, as a Christian, when you read in the Bible, it talks about them, that land being promised to them forever. And so that's something that we have to stand by, even if we don't necessarily agree with what their government does at specific times. It's not about approving of we don't agree with our government all the time. Why would we agree with theirs all the time? Right?
Yeah.
But we have to come together and agree on their right to exist and not be pushed into the sea. But government, or the Democrat side of our government, is has such blind hatred for Trump that it doesn't matter what it is. They will turn on any position that they had in the past not to align with President Trump, and they will rant and rave and have sing-alongs in the streets and riot and whatever they do to make sure that everybody knows that they do not agree with President Trump. And that really, I think, is the crux of it. I think I don't know if it'll ever go back to the way it was, but if you had a Bush Senior in again, if you had a Reagan in again, they would be supporting Israel.
Okay, but this is my question. I look, I didn't like President Obama, but I never disliking him never got in the way of, I mean, do you really think that it's that diabolical that they, that hating Trump is just the number one thing, that the only thing that matters, that I just, how is it that a political party can be that crazy?
Yeah.
How? I mean, okay, okay, so you don't like who the president, well, that's nothing new. Why is it that, I mean, I didn't like Joe Biden, but I didn't lay around saying, okay, I'm going to hate another country because,
right.
I never hated Ukraine because Biden cared more about them than he cared about the U.S.
No.
I didn't hate their people.
No.
So it's kind of, I think you make an important point, though, is separating the government from Israel. I can understand disagreeing with their government. That's totally legitimate. But not supporting their right of self-defense or the right to be there. That's where I can't. Yeah. I just scratch my head at.
I mean, it has gotten to a point where anti-Semitism is so prevalent on the left, and it's seeped into the right too. Don't get me wrong. We have plenty of people on the right that have started to buy into that, but it's so prevalent on the left that I think it's become indistinguishable from the party.
Wow. Then why do Jewish people still vote Democratic?
I don't know.
Trump always said it's just habit. Do you think it's just habit? They're just
Could
Democrats.
Be.
They don't know who Democrats are
They've
nowadays.
done it all their life, But, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, did you hear about what happened with the Southern Poverty Law Center?
Yeah, I vaguely heard about it, that they've been funding
the KKK, funding, all of these hate groups so that, it gives them stuff to look like they're against. And it's a bunch of fraud and setting up shell companies and all of this stuff.
Right. They're trying to keep racism alive, not eliminate it. I've always suspected that.
Yeah.
Them.
Oh, of course.
I've always thought Charlottesville was questionable. I never said it out loud. Obviously, January 6th was a bunch of false flags.
Yeah.
And I mean, they get away with it for so long because of who they claim to be, or maybe they did good work at one time. Could have been that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Back when there was back
in the
black
60s.
drinking fountains. Yeah. I think there are a lot of groups, but it's like, when we talked about Jesse Jackson passing away, it's like, I have a lot of respect for the blacks who marched in the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. But to me, Jackson became, you disagree with me, you're a racist. I think he's one of the people who started that.
Yeah.
And he may have had he may have had a lot to do with civil rights in this country once upon a time. But he got political, and it became about power, not so much about civil rights. And I think Southern Poverty Law Center profits off racism. They will never admit that. But if there's no racist, there's no need for a Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right.
It's kind of like, if you're self-sufficient, there's no need for government.
Right.
So why do we have government? Well, because you're not self-sufficient. It's kind of like, it's kind of a catch-22 where, where that stuff, Yeah, it's funny, the people that they put on their little watch list. I've always looked for us on there, thinking maybe we made it really big if we got on the Southern Poverty Law Center site. That's some quote taken out of context.
I'd frame them, put it on my wall.
That's true. Most of the people out there I've never heard of.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. I don't know, Jay. This work is going to keep me up at night, though. Until it's over.
Yeah.
I just hope and pray this isn't some long drawn out thing, because the one thing I do like, though, is I know Trump is a fighter, but a peacemaker, if that makes sense. I saw war destroy George W. Bush's presidency, and he did nothing about it. He didn't fight back. He didn't change course. He just handled it so stupidly.
Yeah.
And I just don't see Trump falling into that trap. But I also don't trust anyone to tell the truth either. I mean, if you and I have to explain everything to people, then it's, tells me that message isn't there. I don't know. I just think that no war ever goes... nobody in the summer of 1914 thought World War I would go 4.5 years.
Right.
We're always sold on that short war, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm pretty concerned. I hope I'm wrong. I just pray that I'm wrong.
It has to, because if we're still fighting this, when we're coming up on midterms, it's not going to bode well for the Republican Party.
Yeah, but again, it's going to be worse if we lose.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's why I say, what's a win? How do you define winning? Now, there's different ways you can do that. Of course, like you said, the way I would love to see a win is to see the mullahs gone and a new government, not installed by the U.S., but I wish for this for everybody on Earth. Yeah. That they were all self-determined, and there were no tribal leaders. There were no families who put themselves in charge. There were no ruling class. It wasn't ruled by a bunch of bankers or something like that. But that's just, that's kind of, maybe that's a little pie in the sky for what things are really like.
Yeah.
But I just hope that what I loved was I remember I was talking to somebody a few days ago, and Trump was like, we're not extending any ceasefire. They're going to come to we're not extending nothing. And everybody panics and panics and panics next day. All right, well, we'll extend it for a while. It's like you knew it was, here's what I don't get about President Trump has been, and I've said this before, he's either been the president, been running for president, or been the former president for 11 years now.
Yes.
And the mainstream media still can't figure him out.
Yeah.
I know, Jay, when it's not the right time to ask my wife if I can go fishing next weekend. I know.
Yeah.
It didn't take much. Why can't they tell when Trump's full of crap, or when he's in a bad mood, or just why can't they? Do they enjoy poking the bear, or what is it?
Yeah,
why are they so dumb?
They want their sound bites. They want,
Trump gets the sound bite. They
does.
Don't. No one cares who asked the question.
Right.
They just want to see him. They don't care who asked him. Who was that lady? Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
It's a stupid question.
Yeah. That's a stupid question. It's just, but the media does it to me. They hurt themselves by it, and I just don't understand why they're so dumb they can't recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
How's Venezuela going?
I guess
I'm not hearing anything about them.
Right.
So things must be going okay.
I think so. I think they've been selling us oil, and
no speedboats anymore. I think they've decided they're not coming anymore.
I think so. Yeah.
And that's the thing too about war. Sometimes don't you have to do a few things to avoid a war, and that might. And here's the other thing too. How many presidents have sat back and just let all these drugs and stuff come into this country?
Oh yeah.
How long have we been doing that for?
Long time. I mean, even in the 80s, just say no, All of that stuff was coming from Colombia. And,
right, but they were dealing with the demand. Some of them were noble efforts. I mean, let's just be honest. Some of them, they were trying. I think if you point to the 80s, I'm not sure the problem was as understood as it is now.
Yeah.
I think it was, I think with social media and stuff, it's a lot more difficult to stop right now unless you stop it from coming in this country. I think it's just, but by the way,
yes.
This just came to me. So, Ronald Reagan's first wife, Jane Wyman?
Yes.
Okay. I was watching, I don't know why this came up on my YouTube, probably because I watched something on President Reagan. I watched a debate of his, but all of a sudden, I don't know how the algorithms do this. The opening credits of Falcon Crest come on. And
wow.
I don't know why. I think maybe I had listened to the Dukes of Hazzard. I'd listened to Good Old Boys once.
Yeah.
And of course that was on Friday nights,
Yeah.
So
and Falcon Crest was on
after
Friday nights
Dallas.
as well. Yeah.
And right in the beginning of the credits is Jane Wyman. Can I say something really creepy?
Yeah.
It is creepy how much she looked like Nancy Reagan.
Really?
Creepy.
I can't remember.
All the short hair, the old lady haircut clearly dyed.
Yeah.
Same height. It was eerie, I thought, how much she looked like Nancy. Now, you look at pictures of them in the 50s, and I don't see that.
Right.
But you look at later, and it's like, boy, Reagan likes his type, okay, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of weird how much they looked like each
That's
other.
That's crazy.
Maybe I'm seeing what I want to. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I am. But the interesting thing about Jane Wyman, I remember Trump's second wife, the fitness lady, Marla Maples.
Marla Maples. Yeah.
I remember I saw her on a show. Oh, I really liked her. I saw her on a show where they were trying to get her to say something bad about Trump. This is years ago.
Yeah.
And she finally just goes, the man is the father of my daughter, and I am not saying anything bad about him. I'm just not going there.
Yeah.
And I remember, and she still won't. She still won't talk about him.
Huh.
And I remember Jane Wyman giving an interview later when Reagan has Alzheimer's, because she wouldn't talk about Reagan when he was president.
Right.
And people tried to get her to say something, and she wouldn't do it. And she later said that she goes, it's just in bad taste to talk about an ex. We were divorced so long ago, in 1951. It's just, I have 2 children with the man. I'm not saying anything bad. And then she later in the interview admitted that she voted for him both times. So, by the way, I voted for him both times.
Wow.
It was funny. But by the way, we never discussed Mike Reagan's death. I don't know if you heard of it.
I did, yeah.
He was older than I thought. He was 81 or so.
Yeah.
But it's been so disappointing to see the next generation of Reagans and Bushes.
Yeah.
I'm just so disappointed in them. Mike was an exception. But your thoughts of Mike Reagan? I know he was very involved on the radio and all that. I always thought he'd seek office.
Yeah.
He never did. But what do you make of Mike Reagan? And then, of course, that whole family of Maureen Reagan, she died a long time ago, too.
Right.
Whole family's gone, the original 4. The kids from Nancy, of course, are still alive.
Right.
I won't say anything about them, but
Lord help us all.
yeah, no kidding. But what do you think about? I'm so conflicted on children of prominent politicians. Breaking off from their parents, or I see both sides of it, but I've always believed. Ron Reagan Jr.'s never held a real job in his life. He's made a career off his father's Alzheimer's, which just pisses me off to no end. And I see the Bush family. I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah.
But how do you? Yet I respect like the RFK Juniors of the world who, sort of branch off of.
Yes.
So am I a hypocrite for that, or
no? But
my answer is the Democrats have changed. That's how I see.
Yeah, exactly. But yet you rarely see a child of a Democrat going to the right. I mean, RFK.
Well, they're never celebrated, though. They're always RFK Jr. has been just
right.
I don't know if he even identifies as a Republican, but he's just gotten lambasted.
Yeah.
I mean, his siblings. I mean, it's something totally different if it's that way.
Exactly. But like Chelsea Clinton, she's not any different than Hillary.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, doesn't have the body count yet, but
oh boy, wow! Hello, Vince Foster.
Yes.
Well, but you see something like I saw Jenna Bush interview Barack Obama the other day.
Yeah,
it's all over Twitter, and I'm like, really? Barack Obama got elected canning your father, and now you go and.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to shake the guy's hand or just say, know.
Even do the interview and make it fair, but be tough on him.
Yeah, it was just like,
but
really?
To fawn over the guy. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was, I don't know what George and Laura are thinking, but it just, it would really, it would, I don't know. I maybe I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I went against my parents. I mean, my dad changed, but my dad would tell you the Democrats have changed.
Yeah.
Not him, but he hasn't changed, but he would tell you they've changed. Maybe there's some truth to that too. Well, there certainly is.
Yeah. I'm pretty politically aligned with my parents, I think, for the most part. I'm maybe a little more libertarian than they, but I'm definitely conservative as they were. My grandparents, of course, coming through the Depression, were FDR Democrats. I don't know how they would vote today. But
I don't know either. I always wonder that. I always wonder what I mean. I got in an argument with a conservative friend that when I said that I thought Lyndon Johnson did a lot of good things.
What?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
And he was really upset when I said it. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, the man was from Texas and championed civil rights, which had to take a lot of guts. It had to. The man passed President Kennedy's tax cuts. Now, you find me a Democrat today that would sign on to those tax cuts.
Right.
Now, the rest of his presidency sucked, and he was a despicable human being.
Yeah.
But he deserves credit for some good things. Don't tell me a Lyndon Johnson Democrat and an AOC Democrat are the same.
No,
don't give me that for 1 second. But I mean, you can't, here's the thing, too. I think Harry Truman did good things.
Yes.
I think JFK did good things.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Carter did. Okay, a bad example. But it's kind of like, when do we take off the red and blue glasses all the time?
Yeah.
I struggle with it. I got to admit, I struggle with that.
Yeah.
But part of it's because I have trouble separating the Democrats, the D. I have trouble separating that from
Right.
from
Today
what
is-
they. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like I'll give you an example. I watched a Reagan-Carter debate, and the SALT treaty was being debated, the second one, which
Yeah.
never passed actually, and Carter was trying to blame Reagan for it. And of course, Reagan wasn't the president. And Reagan goes, you know who's holding it up, Mr. President? And he starts naming off Democratic senators. On this. He goes, it was old Fritz Hollings and old I think Lloyd Benson was one. And I mean, it was, because he hadn't run for vice president yet. It was just boom, 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 boom. And I think two things. One, those guys could never get elected today from the states they were in. And number two, wow, what a difference 40 years at a party makes.
Yes.
Incredible. Very incredible. Unbelievable. But again, I think that's bad for the country.
Yeah.
I really do. I think having red and blue states is something I'm really worried about. And I'm really worried about like the situation in Virginia where you have a 51-48 state.
Yeah.
And the 51 just ramrod over the 48.
Yeah.
Just ramrod. They couldn't care less what they think. Couldn't care less about representing them. Couldn't care less to listen or anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very dark thing. And, part of me wants to just go all out and fight.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, the old thing, the Bible doesn't say this in these words. Uncle Jesse said it on the Dukes of Hazzard, but I think he was misquoting the Bible, but trying to.
Yeah.
You do the same thing as your enemies, what makes you any better?
Yeah.
And that's not a verse, but it should be.
I mean, do unto others like you would like them
it's
to do
a
unto
paraphrasing,
you. Or love your neighbors as yourself, right?
What if your neighbors don't love you back?
That's on them. You're responsible for what you do.
True. And you know what? You have a responsibility not to hate them.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to pray for their souls. You have a responsibility that's bigger than politics.
Yeah.
But, man, is that hard. That is one of the hardest things, Jay,
Yes.
to do. In me, and I've talked a little bit about rediscovering faith.
Yeah.
Is loving people and not liking what they do.
Yes.
That is really hard. Yes. That may be the hardest thing in life. It's kind of like having a drug addict relative or alcoholic, and you want to wring their necks, and you want them to change, but they won't. But you can't hate them.
Right.
It's just not right to hate them.
No, it's not.
You hate what they're doing. That's fine.
Yeah.
But hating them is not okay.
Yeah.
So but boy, I'll tell you what, it is definitely a rage killer.
Yes.
I don't know. How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah. How do you?
It's not easy, I mean, you genuinely have to love people, and it's not about overlooking the wrong things that they do, because you hope that, you can help them to overcome those things and to be better. And it's not a matter of looking down on them either, like, oh, I'm much more righteous than you are. It's not that, because I screw up too all the time. But
everyone's a sinner.
Yeah,
remember that.
Everybody is, and ideally, once we accept Jesus, we cut most of that out, right? Because we change our lives to be better. But we still mess up. I mean, that's part of it. And whether it might not be in such blatant things, it might be with our attitudes, it might be with gossip, it might be with whatever. But there are still things that we need to watch out for. But when we're trying to love other people, we really have to try and see them as they were created, see the potential in them that God created them for. You look at a verse like Ephesians 2:10, it said we are God's workmanship or his masterpiece, and that we were created for good works that were prepared for us from long ago. So, like, God has created good works for each of us to walk through in the course of our lives. And with those that have not yet recognized that in their lives, we have to be patient enough to recognize they've got those things and trying to help them find meaning in life, helping them to find that only through God can they find that meaning and find really why they were created. I think as a father, with my older two kids, one of the biggest disservices maybe I did was say, you know what, you can be anything when you grow up. That's not really true. My daughter, who was, 5'2", 5'3", never going to be a football player, no matter how much she wanted to be, right? Right? It just wouldn't work. But did they know what you meant? Here's what I decided later in life, that we can't be whatever we want. We really have to aspire to be what we were created to be, because that's
you have to find that,
yeah,
whatever that is, and that's.
But it's really, we're created for that one thing, and we've got to find it.
Well, and for some people, it's not always, and this is the thing, too, about when I talk about rediscovering faith, I don't know where that's going to take me. I don't know yet.
Right.
I don't know if it's if it's to talk to others the way you do. I don't know if it's just for me that there's just a calling, there's something there that I need to discover. But, when I say... I've always said that too, that people ask me, how did you write a book? How did you do it? And my first answer to them, and do they get mad at me, is, well, not everyone can do it. If everyone could do it, everyone would be an author, and it would be that easy.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. You have to, it is a skill that not everyone, even I didn't know I could possess it.
Right. But you've got to kind of love to write. If you hate writing, you're not going to be able to write a book.
You have to love to write. You have to love to read. You have to think about what others would like, because it's not all about you.
Right.
And so it is, you have to be an organizer. You have to be dedicated. You have to work on something at 2:00 in the morning. And not everybody's willing to do it. They're not bad people if they're not willing to do it.
Yeah. They've got something they're supposed to do that they're going to be awesome at.
Podcasts are another thing. Yeah. Everyone thinks they can do a podcast just because they got a mouth and a cell phone.
Right.
And I always tell people, if you're in the podcast business because you think this is going to be your job and you're not going to have to work, I'm going to tell you straight up, you will fail, and you will fail. You will fall so flat on your ass, you will never get up again. If that's your attitude, you're going to fail. It's guaranteed that you'll fail.
Yeah.
It's a 1 in a million. Now, yes, can a few people be flashes in the pan and get, I'm a digital influencer because I have a few hundred you know what those people do? They move on to the next person. 6 months from now, they'll be on to somebody else. Whatever the next fad is, that's where they go.
Yeah.
If that's your plan in life, to do as little as possible and lay around and talk to your phone, I'm going to tell you, you have a 99.9% chance to fail.
Yeah.
You want to be a podcaster? That's a business.
Yeah.
That requires money. It requires time. It requires, what it takes to put shows together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it takes hours to...
It's a total joke.
To do.
These people, but I meet people all the time who think they're going to make they're the next podcasting sensation. And I'm just like, God. Although I do believe, though, citizen journalism will win out at some point.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I don't think that's very far in the future.
Nobody trusts the media.
No, and the old media is dead anyway. Print media is dead. They're just waiting for 80-year-olds to die.
Right.
And then it's all gone. All right. Well, we jumped around a lot there, Jay, but we haven't heard a sermon in a while.
Well, I've preached the last couple of weeks at Park Harbor Church. Y'all are welcome to come join any Sunday.
Well, we haven't heard it on here, so we're going to hear it now. Styling, profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling and dealing, son of a gun, Jay, words of wisdom.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, I don't have any. No.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
No.
Thinking about all of this and world events and leaders, they come and they go. And even those like in Iran, they try to struggle to hold on to power. But there's always somebody that wants to bump you off if you have to be in complete control. And there are always people that want control. And you think about it. It's like, I used this in a sermon a couple weeks ago. If you light a candle in a room and it's a dark room, you light a candle and you slowly back out of that room, what happens? Darkness fills the area where the light was. That when that light is there, the darkness cannot penetrate the light, but the light penetrates the darkness. But when you back out of that room, the darkness creeps back in because nature abhors a vacuum. And when we leave a vacuum, as conservatives, as Christians, as mothers and fathers, as coaches, as whatever we engage in, that vacuum is filled by darkness. It just is. That is the way that nature works. And so we have to be vigilant as ever, to make sure that we're involved in the process, whether we're running a campaign for political office, whether we are helping somebody run a campaign, we're a citizen journalist, we're involved in our church, we are involved in Little League or a basketball league or whatever it is where we're trying to have input to make our city, our society, our community better. We have to do it. The more that we sit home and we don't make the world better, the more darkness comes in. So we have to figure out, what are we good at? What is the reason that we are put here on this earth? Again, we are God's workmanship, or his masterpiece, and we were created for good works, which were prepared for us from a long time ago. What are those good things? What has he prepared for us? Because if he's prepared for it for us and we're obedient to walk through, we will be successful. So we've got to do it. We have retreated from society for far too long. But now it is our job to get into the game, to figure out why we were made, and to pursue it wholeheartedly, to love our families, to love our God, to love our church, and to love people. That's what it comes down to. So whatever it is, we got to join together. We have to come together into unity so that we're each, as a different part of the body, working together, fulfilling the purpose that we each have, so that we're not out there struggling on our own because we're not properly connected to the whole body. If you have a question about how you fit in, don't hesitate to get a hold of us. Get a hold of us at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That's commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. And if you're thinking about running for a race, get a hold of us as well. We've got people that we're coaching up this year, but we still have a little bit of room. And we would love to be able to help you run the best campaign that you can run. So with that said, let's get on it. Let's get through it. Let's work it out, because we cannot lose if we're obedient to do what our destiny requires of us. We love you, Minnesota, but now it's your turn to get to work.